Hey guys, red and black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications by clicking the bell, and leave a cool like on the video. We're always here thanks to the Million Picks, the benefits club that you can join. Their products and experiences, you exchange your points, you buy points and trade them for experiences and products. Plus, you'll still have a chance to win many prizes. On the 31st, the New Year's prize is 3 prizes of 1 million rays each. On January 2nd, there's a prize of 2 million rays. I've already mentioned 5 million. Besides that, you have instant prizes of up to 100,000 rees, instant prizes of up to 100,000 rees. Scratch it, win it, and the money goes straight to your account. Look, we have a lot to talk about here, and we're even here with a guy. A video, a live stream by Fernando Baliza from the Instaverde channel. He made a kind of outburst, right? He was talking about Flamengo, Palmeiras, and more. And we have an interesting situation for us to follow, and we'll be bringing this moment to you here. From Fernando Instaverde, he also has a channel. No matter what they say, they're scared of that BAP live stream. And I've already mentioned it here a few times, right? Remember, our other sponsors are listed in the pinned comment. You've already won, and so have I, right? I got the link there on Insta, in the highlights, in the bio, and also in the stories, right? Play responsibly. It's for fun, not investment. And for those over 18, we always have it here. Look, I won here with us. All right, let's go. They're scared. They're scared. It's a situation that we know BAP. I think he even makes a mistake when he talks about the physical characteristic. But as I see it, there's no sexism, right? I even disagree here. I always support the people from Flamengo's council and the women's group. But this time I didn't see a sexist attitude from BAP. He commented on looks, which is wrong, but it wasn't sexist. However, you're missing something. And what if BAP did all this because he knew the commotion it would cause and it would draw attention to this live stream? For this, look at what's being said. Then they're saying, oh, but he said it. All they're talking about is the issue of the big nose journalist, that he said she had a big nose. That's not true. You can see that no live stream or council meeting has ever had this much repercussion. That's all anyone talks about now. They're talking about the other topics too. They took the whole thing and boosted it. He is very smart. He is very smart. He can take the hits, but at the same time, he boosted things in an unbelievable way. And everyone is talking about it. We're going to show the reaction here, and I'm sure this was planned by BAP, okay? BAP is extremely intelligent. He spoke wanting to say it and knowing the impact it would have, and the impact is huge. Everyone is just discussing the council meeting. There are a few other topics, but we'll try to find some to share with you. Look, Flamengo won. 1.6 million followers in this year's final stretch. And a lot of that happened after what went on at the Titles Council meeting and the meeting in the last few days. From yesterday to today, for example, Flamengo gained a lot of followers. Flamengo is breaking records in the number of followers. Even the pages that talk about Flamengo, my page is gaining a lot of followers. It was crazy. What BAP ended up doing with that statement was to absurdly increase the engagement, the repercussion of everything that is said about Flamengo. That's a reality, and he's being highly praised by the rivals. Okay, by the fans, rival fan channels, we're going to bring this reaction here. Look, we had Emerson Royal, he's praising, right? Discussing titles, praise, and criticism. He calls for a humble Flamengo in 2026. Look, when I arrived after 4 months, I had a tendon injury. Look how incredible that is, right? He said he had a tendon injury. I didn't play for 4 months. Yeah, you know, like that. Without preseason, I arrived, and after a week of training, I was already starting as a regular. Everything happened really fast. I wasn't 100% ready, but I was available. I told Felipe I was there to help and did my best. So Emerson Royal was playing without being 100%, right? You see a lot of people complaining about the guy, and he's saying he wasn't at 100%. So when he's at 100%, he keeps going. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I get the fans' expectations. Wearing the jersey of Brazil's biggest club means there's always pressure. I can deliver much more, and I will. I'll rest, do preseason, and start 2026 flying. That's my goal. I know the way. I'm a good player. I know my potential, and I know who I am. Rodinei was like that. He was being heavily criticized, and then suddenly he turned things around and started playing really well for Flamengo, and he left with the fans wanting him to stay. He also talks about the sequence. Now we have to be humble and know that we can't relax. The Brazilian league is very tough. If you go in relaxed, the other team will run over you. We did it, but that's behind us. Football moves forward. We've made history, but we're here to achieve more. Big teams always do. That's how it is. We did it and it's good, but we must focus on next season with seriousness and humility to achieve more. So, an interesting interview with Emerson Royal. We can see that the player took the criticism well, but he made a point of making it clear that he had a problem with his tendon. Saul is considering surgery for tendon issues and may miss Flamengo at the start of 2026. He will look for Saul, he will look for doctors both in Rio de Janeiro and in Europe to get other opinions, and will discuss with Flamengo the possibility of having the surgery. And then he could be out for up to 4 months. 4 months away from Flamengo, we could have Saul out of Mengao for up to 4 months. That's right, he would return between April and May if he has the surgery. So he's been dealing with pain in his left leg. He's considering having the surgical procedure to fix the injury. Flamengo actually prefers that he does it. Flamengo is going to authorize it. If he chooses surgery, he should be out for about 4 months. So information brought by GEOK. He was diagnosed with insertional tendinopathy, a condition that results from pain in the heel of the left foot. There's a bone formation that ends up causing that pain there, and he's going to have to fix that, right? Recovery from this surgery takes a long time. He consulted specialists in Spain, where he vacations and shares information with Flamengo's doctors. Besides surgery, there is the option of conservative treatment, which involves rest, therapy, and specific activities. Flamengo doesn't think that's the solution. He's 31 younger than Jorginho and still has plenty of soccer ahead. And it's clear, right, that both Royal and Saul, Royal, ever since he arrived, has basically been injured and playing through it. And Saul, right, playing through the pain. Saul. He starts strong, but then drops off, showing he had this problem, okay? So he had this immediate impact on Felipe Luis's team with great performances at the beginning, and then he felt it, okay? The evaluation of the player is positive in the first 6 months at Ninho do Urubu, but we can say that he got worse, right? He got worse on the field also because of physical issues, okay? His Flamengo contract lasts until 2028, and thinking in the long term, Flamengo can, yes, that he undergoes this surgery, and he should then decide to make this decision now, in January. Look, Flamengo is betting on it, right? On Samuel Lino's leading role in 2026, a GE article talks about the biggest signing in the club's history, which went through everything in 2025. They won the Libertadores and Brasileirão, had both good and bad games, and faced fan pressure. They were inconsistent, right? With such a small sample size, remember Cebolinha also had rough patches, and now he's doing really well. Despite injuries and all, he's doing really well at the club. Given his training and traits, everyone believes the forward can achieve more in 2026. Flamengo believes that Lino is a player who stands out in Brazilian football and expects him to become even more adapted to the club, to the fans, and next year's play style. That's why Felipe must and will stay. The opportunity to have a full preseason with the group undergoing an individual development plan. It is also seen as a key point for the stability that the red and black fans demand from Samuel Lino. The player felt pressured by fan criticism and lost confidence over time. He understands that he can and will perform better, especially in the final stretch. He has already improved. So we have both Samuel Lino and Saul hoping for a better 2026. Saul will probably have to undergo this surgery. He will most likely need to have the surgery. And then he might have less time in the season, right? Only coming back around May and so on. But Saul Samuel Lino could indeed have a very interesting 2026 season, okay? I have a lot of confidence in Samuel Lino. I think he could be a player, a real signing who hasn't made it yet but could break through in 2026 and become a new signing for Flamengo. Galactic, right? Yeah, we have that here too. To give you guys some interesting information here, check this out. We also published that Everton Ribeiro talked about his affection for Flamengo and revealed that he roots for Mengao. And Totoy, right? There are a lot of fans asking for Everton Ribeiro to come back and finish his career at Flamengo, okay? Totoy was happy. Us too, we have friends there. Flamengo is a huge chapter in my story, many Instagram pages. So we root for them too. When we're not playing against them, we're cheering for them, right? In this case, because of the friends, because of the history there. So Everton Ribeiro, making it clear that he really roots for Flamengo. Not just Totoy, but Ribeiro also really roots for Flamengo. We also have an interesting statement from BAP here. He spoke to Flamengo television about Flamengo's future goals. According to President Luis Eduardo Baptista, BAP, he emphasized wanting to make Rubro-Negro a top 15 club worldwide for investment. In addition, he emphasized his confidence in winning the Club World Cup title in 2029. BAP said he believes Flamengo will be strong contenders to win the Club World Cup in 2029. Flamengo has to be in the top 15 in revenue worldwide, and we have to be prepared to win the 2029 Club World Cup. We'll move in that direction, even though we're in Brazil and earn revenue in reais. We are making very strong investments in Flamengo's youth academy, and we hope it will bear a lot of fruit in 27 and 28. So I see the year 26 with a lot of optimism, and I'm dreaming big for 2029. Wait for us. I think that's the vision. BAP is driving Flamengo fans crazy, and the rivals even more so. This statement from BAP about wanting to truly become a top 15 in global investments to go after this title, which is what Flamengo wants the most, what they're missing, which is this Club World Cup, for Flamengo to beat the champion Chelsea. But for Flamengo to aim to win in 2029, having that as their main goal would be very impressive. Let's follow along now. The recording, here's the clip from InstaVerde. It doesn't matter what they say, Fernando Baliza is specifically addressing the comparison with Palmeiras. He was surprised by Flamengo, praised BAP's live stream, and also criticized Leila Pereira.
Flamengo investing, and I was reacting without having seen all of BAP's live stream. He responded to Palmeiras, Santos, São Paulo, and Corinthians by winning first, then answering. I think that broadcast really gives Flamengo fans hope. Next season, they'll have $1 billion to build an even better team. In soccer, anything can happen. Many things may not go as planned, since people both succeed and make mistakes. But the answers that were given, especially when talking about Leila Pereira, I want to make it very clear, right here at the beginning of the video, that the fact that I think another manager is more competent than Leila doesn't mean I'm being disrespectful. I just don't like her work, and I've always been clear about that when I talk about soccer, okay? I'm not discussing her as a businesswoman or person, just her soccer work. I don't like it, but I respect if you do.
But I don't like it. Strong criticism. So Leila Pereira, huh?
Even when we talk about the debt profile of the clubs, right? I don't see good work being done at Palmeiras regarding that. It's not a reduction of the debt, it's a controlled debt. The club can respond if they want, that's fine, but I don't think Palmeiras can stand alone since it's always relying on her. Renovate the pool and club areas, make the club self-sufficient through football, and invest in the social club. That's my view, right? As long as I don't see that happening, for me, the club isn't sustaining itself, right? There are things being covered up, that's my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's fine. I'm open to discussing or debating this topic with someone. But that's just how I see it. And when we talk about soccer, what makes us happy with the team is having good players, right? Huck Anderson, Talisca, Roger Ibanez, Andreas Pereira, Vitor Roque, and Palmeiras. They spent poorly, invested heavily, and will likely learn from Flamengo in this transfer window. I think Flamengo will form a strong team. I made a video on this, and the names I discussed are already being rumored. In other words, there's a fullback I mentioned that Atletico Mineiro is looking for, which is Renan Lodge. Roger Ibanez has already had some initial inquiries from Flamengo. Tati Castellanos might end up at Flamengo. In other words, all the names I mentioned there, the clubs are already moving to bring them in, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
About 150 million reais Tati Castellanos is leaving now.
Who, Palmeiras? What stars will Palmeiras add to this team? Fans deserve Fabinho, Casemiro. Let's see if you can make it happen. I'll keep my mouth shut. When we see that the job is being well done, well executed, we're the first to give praise.
Look at him praising Flamengo, right?
I'm telling you now, I'll be on the broadcast later and you can hold me accountable. I don't mind. You can make corrections later if needed, since I don't think what's in the video will actually happen. What needs to be put is an asterisk, a warning sign, because Palmeiras, when it comes to football matters, its management is very confusing. And when you see a live stream like the one BAP did, he might have told 100 lies there, but it was a live stream clarifying points that are of interest to the fans. Our club is capable of doing that. It's capable of doing a live stream like that. I don't think so, right? 2 hours talking soccer with Layla. Let's watch the video.
Leila can do that. I don't think so. He was talking, the Palmeiras influencer Fernando Baliza Instaverde, saying that Leila isn't capable of doing what BAP does. And you can see that they're upset with you.
I don't care that Corinthians has debt. Palmeiras hasn't lowered theirs either. Son, Corinthians owes more, and some say, but they win titles. But so what? It's not about legacy. What legacy does a Corinthians fan have today? Ask if they're happy with Memphis. Are you happy with Vega? Are you happy with Mauricio? Are you happy with Sousa? Are you happy with Facundo? So, man, I just can't understand why people are going after Corinthians' debt. We just made it more embarrassing to have lost 2 titles. For him, there's no point in saying it like that. Ah, but they're in debt, and because our house is in order, we shouldn't have lost to them. Man, so, guys, it's not about sucking up to our rivals.
There's a lot of desperation at Palmeiras, not understanding how Corinthians did it. Even more than Flamengo's titles, which they understand because Flamengo has good management today. They have money. You can see they see Flamengo as an example. But what's really bothering them is the fact that Corinthians also beat them, that they haven't won anything. They're really bothered by it.
We're telling what happened in a documentary called Total Access, or maybe Free Access, but I think it's Total Access. It's on the 26th, 27th, I don't know, around there, on Globo. But the thing is ridiculous because if you look at it historically, Palmeiras never lost and was eliminated twice by Corinthians. We have the Brazilian championship here, man, right here. So what's the point of this thing like, oh, but Corinthians, you have to see what Corinthians' debt is like? Man, I'm sorry, dude. If we keep that attitude, we'll be even more bitter about 2025. If we consider that those guys won and still have the debt, it won't be paid. Interest on the debt only makes it worse since it won't be paid. The most obvious failure of Palmeiras. I'm not referring to Corinthians. Apparently, a journalist accused them of being title scammers. Right? If we go that way, who do you leave out? Botafogo, Palmeiras, Flamengo? Everyone owes something trying to win, mano. In Brazilian soccer, no one is winning or lowering their debt. Atletico Mineiro increased their debt. Cruzeiro increased their debt because they invested in the team. Corinthians increased their debt. São Paulo increased their debt. Palmeiras has debt. Flamengo was maybe the only team that managed to have. Flamengo has the most controlled debt in Brazil, not Palmeiras. As far as I know, Palmeiras' debt hasn't gone down. It's still the same. Did you see the news that Palmeiras has 10 million euros to invest at first? Because they've already invested 700. They've already invested 700, right? So, I'm not going down that path. Do you know what people are going for? Corinthians always owes money. Everyone knows that. So why keep talking about their debt? Palmeiras owed even more to win the 2015 Copa do Brasil. Did you know that? Palmeiras pays its bills. There's a loan from Paulo Nobre for investment, which was later repaid in full, and payments continued until the year before last. Man, so, who are you guys talking about? After all,
all clubs have this kind of movement. Unlike what Flamengo does, Flamengo is going to clear its debt. The others can't do it. Flamengo clears the debt. Flamengo increases its revenue. Flamengo managed things to be able to do this and didn't sell. The club didn't become an SAF, and even BAP warned these clubs. Some executives want clubs to become SAFs, so they intentionally put the club into debt to force the change.
Palmeiras, the year before making that investment to win a Copa do Brasil, owed water bills, basic bills, not the year before, but 2 years earlier. Palmeiras fans in São Paulo are making content saying, Palmeiras has a legacy in their title, but it takes time, right? It's been 10 years. When we won the Copa do Brasil in 2015, there was no legacy at all. Then came the Brasileirão, and year after year, Palmeiras kept putting its house in order. To win in 2016, money was invested and risks were taken, so I'm investing now to gain rewards. If Corinthians ends up owing more next year, that's only about Corinthians management, but it won't take away Corinthians' title. Mano, just like Botafogo's title wasn't revoked. Botafogo owes more now than before, but now they're Libertadores champions. Before they weren't.
Otherwise, you'd have to take away all those titles from Flamengo during Marcio Braga and Kleber Leite's era, when they won many titles but ended up with huge debt, right? But those titles are still counted today. That's it. They decided to put things in order later. But during those times when they didn't pay, no one acted like they'd pay me, and I acted like I played, just like Vampeda. Do you remember the titles you have from those times? All the previous ones are being counted, including a Mercosul against Palmeiras.
That way, I can see where people want to take this debate. Since Botafogo's title is going to be taken away, São Paulo's Copa do Brasil title was taken away.
No, it's not taken away.
This is about how Brazilian clubs are managed and run from a sports perspective. How can a team that claims to be up to date lose to Corinthians? That's the question that needs to be asked. And not just say Corinthians only won because they're no good.
Hey, Fernando, let me say something so we can finish up. Please subscribe, enable notifications, like the video, and follow the InstaVerde channel. No matter what people say, let me tell you, I'll leave you on the screen. These may be the last years or even the last year now that Corinthians finally won a Copa do Brasil, a title they deserved. A team that's making these crazy moves is going to win, or Palmeiras will put themselves on the same level as Flamengo and keep fighting with the management without becoming a SAF and paying off debt, or Palmeiras will start to fall. They must follow the same path as others, and no one else can take titles from Flamengo. It's not arrogance. I'm saying this because Flamengo is working toward it and making it happen without arrogance. Flamengo spent years being called Zerinho to get to this point. I think there will be less and less room for other teams once Flamengo has 3 squads to choose from, and say it like this: this team will win the Copa do Brasil, and the other 2 will win the Libertadores and Brasileirão. Only the Paulista Championship will be left, old Flamengo. That's all that's going to be left, because Flamengo will win the Carioca too, especially with the high prize money now at 27.5 million. Flamengo will win the Carioca. So, nothing remains for Fluminense, Vasco, or Botafogo. For Palmeiras, Corinthians, Santos, São Paulo, Mirassol, and so on, only the Paulista will be left. And why is that happening? So, I'm going to thank your administrations. Leila, thanks, but starting with 700 million and so on makes the contract bad. These administrations are making Flamengo become a Bayern in a Bundesliga here in Brazilian football. That's it. Big hug from Bruno Negras. This is Flamengo. Thanks also for the content we reacted to from Fernando on InstaVerde. We're together. We're together.